What do you do when the city you were born to defend is already burning? This is your life as an Aztec warrior on the night Tenochtitlan falls, outnumbered, surrounded, and knowing that every step forward is one you will never take back. Here's what it really looks like. The causeway stones are slick with blood and August heat. Behind you, Tlatelolco is burning, the last free district of Tenochtitlan, and the black smoke rising in columns above the lake is the only kind of flag you have left. Ahead of you, 40 yards of open stone, Spanish arquebuses, loaded guns. Your obsidian maquahuitl is in your hand. The blades are chipped. 75 days of siege have compressed the city you were born in down to this moment. The smell of char, the taste of lake water, the sound of a weapon you have no answer for. Your commander raises his arm. He orders the charge. And the question that sits inside that order, the one that will haunt you from this causeway to wherever your bones end up, however far that is from home, isn't whether you'll obey. You're Aztec. You were trained since childhood to walk forward into death without breaking stride. The question is whether anything you became was worth the cost of becoming it. To understand how you ended up here, 30 years old, chipped obsidian, a burning empire at your back, you have to go back. Not to the siege, not to the first Spanish sail on the horizon. You have to go back 18 years, to a sun-baked courtyard in Tenochtitlan, a barefoot 10-year-old watching warriors return from the flower wars with captives roped at the wrists and eagle feathers in their hair. That boy wants nothing more than to be one of them. He has no idea what he will have to give up first. 5 years later, that boy is you. You are 15, standing in a sun-baked courtyard that smells like sweat and dried blood, and the weapon in your hand is the same maquahuitl you watched those warriors carry. You have never used it on a living man. You have 4 years to fix that. 4 years. The Tlacopan, the House of Youth, does not graduate warriors on sentiment. If you have not taken your first captive by 20, the system closes. You do not get a second track. You do not get a consolation rank. You do not get to be buried as a warrior. You spend the rest of your life farming, and you die a commoner. Your father captured 3 men before he was 19. 3! You know because he told you. You know because the number lives in the back of your throat every morning you wake up. Every week, another life. If you're staying for the whole climb, subscribe. You train 6 days out of 7. You run the causeways before dawn, 5 miles on stone, bare feet, mock shield at 11 pounds pressing into your forearm. You drill the obsidian swing, the chopping angle, the pivot, the locking step. You drill it until your shoulders stop shaking. The older boys in your cohort already have 1 capture each. Some have 2. Their names move differently through the school now. Yours does not move at all. The instructors are veterans of the flower wars. They do not praise. They correct or they ignore you. And being ignored is worse. A boy named Chimali, broad-shouldered, a full head taller, takes his first captive in a border skirmish near Tlaxcalan before the dry season ends. He walks back through the courtyard with the man's wrist rope still in his hand. He does not look at you. You are 16 now, 3 years left, 0 captures, and the flower war season opens in 40 days. The 40 days end. You march out with 20 other boys from your school, trailing behind the seasoned warriors like smoke behind a torch. The expedition leader assigns your unit to the eastern flank, near Tlaxcalan. You were told this once. You are not told again. Your Ichkawipili, the quilted cotton armor, weighs 11 pounds dry. Soaked in sweat by the second hour, it is closer to 17. You carry your maquahuitl in your right hand, your chimali in your left. The obsidian edges are sharp enough to open skin with a breath. You are not supposed to use them to kill. You are supposed to use them to break a man's legs, to tire him, to drive him to his knees while he still breathes. A warrior who kills instead of captures walks back to the school and waits while the masters decide whether shame follows him or just silence. You have watched both happen. Killing is instinct. Capture is craft.
You find your man in the brush line, a Tlaxcalan warrior, older than you, painted blue and yellow, breathing hard from a skirmish upstream. He sees you at the same moment you see him. He does not run. Neither do you. You take 3 cuts before you get him down. 1 across the forearm, 1 along your left calf. The 3rd opens the space below your ear and fills the left side of your face with warm. None of these stop you. None of these stop him either, until the 4th blow catches the back of his knee and he goes down sideways into the brush, and you are on top of him before he can turn. You bind his wrists with the cord you have carried for this exact moment for 3 years.
He looks up at you. He already knows what this means. Back in Tenochtitlan, he will be painted, fed, given flowers, and walked to the stone. He knows. You know. You hold his gaze for exactly 1 moment, and then you look away first. He does not. You walk him back through the eastern gate. 1 capture. The instructors note it without expression. You need 2 more before your rank shifts to something with a name.
And somewhere beyond the mountains to the east, runners are already arriving at the palace with news that no one yet knows how to translate. The second capture comes 8 months later in the Puebla foothills. You take him alone. No instructor notes the assist. Your count stands at 2. The Tlaxcalan rank opens at 3, and the campaign window closes in 6 weeks. You get the 3rd at Tlaxcalan. You are 23. You have been at war, more or less continuously, for 4 years. They give you the Tlaxcalan suit the morning after your return. Yellow cotton, red at the hem. The feathers cost more than your father's entire toolkit. You put it on in front of your unit, and no one laughs. No one speaks. The lip plug is inserted 6 days later. Obsidian. Small. It pulls at the skin for 3 weeks before you stop noticing it. You have the right now to dye your cloak. You have the right to eat human flesh at the victory feasts. You have the right to take a second wife. You go home first instead. Your wife has managed the household for 3 years. Your son is 5. He does not run to you when you walk through the door. He watches you from behind his mother's leg. She does not move him. You understand. You sit at the edge of the hearth, and you wait. By nightfall, he is in your lap. You tell yourself that is enough. It is not enough. The system does not pause. The Tlaxcalan level requires 4 captures to advance, then 6, then Tequiha at 8. The Quachik title opens at 20. You do the arithmetic quickly, and you stop before you finish it. In the palace, Moctezuma's runners are no longer arriving alone. They arrive in pairs now, in 3s. Coastal reports, strangers on water, vessels the local traders have no word for. No one has said the word threat yet, but the priests are burning extra copal, and copal means someone has already done the math that you couldn't finish. You are decorated now. You are named. And something is coming from the east that does not know what your rank means. The ceremony happens 3 days after the 4th coastal runner arrives. You don't choose the timing. The timing chooses you. They dress you before dawn. The Quatli suit is real eagle feathers, not dyed cotton, not painted reed, real feathers stitched to a frame that took a craftsman 40 days to build. A commoner earns enough in a year to cover the cost. You wear a year of someone else's life on your back. The Brotherhood is 800 men. 800. You have met maybe 30 of them before today. They do not explain what being eagle means.
They don't need to. You already know. You eat in the palace now. You hold land. You are exempt from tribute for the rest of your life. The state feeds you, arms you, marks you as something that cannot be bought or traded away. You are 23 years old. You have more status than your father's entire neighborhood will accumulate in 3 generations.
And then the envoy speaks. He has been traveling for 9 days. He is not a trader. He is one of Moctezuma's own listeners, trained to report without opinion, without color. He uses that voice now. He says the vessels are not rafts, not canoes. He says floating mountains. He says the men on them wear their skin on the outside, hard skin, silver, that does not yield to obsidian. He says 2 of them were struck by arrows in the chest. They kept walking. The room does not panic. Warriors don't panic. But you watch the man next to you, a Tekwaha, 16 captures, the kind of soldier who makes you feel like a child, and you watch him set his food down. He doesn't pick it up again. The envoy's report ends. No one asks questions. There are no questions that solve this. You are Eagle now. You have a feathered suit and a land grant and a seat in this room. And somewhere off the coast, there are men who do not die the way men are supposed to die. Moctezuma wants to know what they want. He is going to send someone to find out. You already know. It will be you. You went to the coast. You stood 20 feet from the strangers and watched them aim a cannon at nothing just to show you what it did. You came back with that sound still in your chest. You reported to the chamber. And then the strangers kept coming anyway. That is 2 years ago. 2 years of watching the map change. You are Tlacopan now, a war commander. You hold the Tlacopan causeway with 40 men and 2,000 behind you waiting for orders. The Spanish have perhaps 800 soldiers. You outnumber them by a ratio that should not be possible to lose. The Tlaxcalans marching behind them, 200,000, those are the ones who terrify you. They know every tactic, every formation, every deception. They have been fighting you their entire lives. They are you in a different feathered suit, and they are hungry for this moment. You taxed their grain. You took their sons for the altar. This is not a war between civilizations. This is a debt being collected. The cannon fires. You count. 90 heartbeats to reload. Your men move in that window. The obsidian shatters on their steel. Your weapons were built to wound and capture, not to kill at range. You adapt. You learn to work in the gaps. You learn the sound that means retreat and the sound that means push. You hold the causeway for 11 days. On the 12th, a runner comes from the Eastern District. He tells you about the sickness. It moves from body to body without a wound, without a weapon, without a ritual explanation. You have words for 100 kinds of illness. You have no word for this. And then he tells you who has it. Chimali. The name lands before the sentence ends. Your childhood friend from the Telpochkali. The boy who showed you how to grip a maquahuitl before your hands were large enough to hold one. He has been sick for 8 days. He is in a house in the Eastern District, and he cannot move. And there is nothing the healers can do. You have not seen him in 5 years. You will never see him again. Not to a Spanish sword, not to a Tlaxcalan spear, to something that arrived on a ship and asked no permission and has no name and is, right now, moving through every district in the city at once. You hold the causeway. You hold it. But the city behind you is already dying. The charge breaks. You know it before the horns signal it. You feel it in the silence where 10,000 voices should be. The causeway holds no army. It holds only you and the men beside you
and the bodies of the men who were beside you an hour ago.
Word comes at dawn. Cuauhtémoc is on the lake. He was trying to reach the eastern shore in a canoe. A brigantine found him. He is taken. The last Tlatoani of Tenochtitlan, the man you watched receive the obsidian crown, the man for whom you would have crossed into death willingly, is a prisoner on a Spanish ship before the sun has cleared the mountains.
The city is rubble. Not metaphor. Rubble. The temples you climbed as a novice are dust. The market where you bought your first pair of sandals is ash. The street where your mother watched you leave for the Tlacopan is gone. And so is the block it stood on. And so is the canal that ran beside it. 55,000 houses. The largest city in the Western world. Cortés will write in his letter that he wept when he gave the order to destroy it. He destroyed it anyway. You stand in formation, the last unit. The men around you are bleeding and thin, and some are dying standing up. And they are standing anyway. Because this is what the Tlacopan made you. Not a conqueror. A shape. The shape of a man.
The Spanish will lay their first stone before the year is out. They will use the stones of the great temple, your temple. The men who survive, the ones too broken to be dangerous, will carry those stones. They will mix the mortar. They will build the cathedral that will stand where the pyramid stood, and it will be taller, and no one who prays inside it will know what is underneath. Laborers, building a monument to the God of the men who destroyed their God. There is another ladder, where the uniform is a suit, and the casualty count is higher. And that story is coming. If this one stayed with you, subscribe. And if it hits something real, hit like. It is the only thing that carries this kind of history to someone who hasn't found it yet. You stand in the ruins of the greatest city your world ever built. The Macahuitl is still in your hand. The obsidian still catches the morning light. The city it once reflected is gone. But you are still here, still in formation, still a warrior, even when the war is over and there is nothing left to defend. The cycle continues.